You know that feeling, staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., just wondering why sleep won't come? We've all been there. But what if it's more than just one bad night? Today, we're going to dive deep into insomnia, a really complex disorder that's so much more than just feeling tired. We're going to figure out what is actually going on when our brains just refuse to switch off.
Right? It feels like you're literally at war with your own pillow. It is so frustrating. You're exhausted, you know you need to rest, but your mind just has other plans. If that nightly battle sounds familiar to you, well, you are in very, very good company.
I mean, this is not some rare thing. At any given moment, almost a third of all adults are wrestling with insomnia. But get this, in any given year, that number can shoot up to 50%. Half the population. That's a staggering number, and it makes insomnia the most common sleep disorder out there.
So to really get a handle on this, here's our game plan. First, we'll define what insomnia really is. Then we'll do some detective work and uncover the causes. After that, we'll look at how it's diagnosed, check out the modern toolkit for managing it, and finally, we'll zoom out to see how this all fits into our crazy 24/7 world. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. What is insomnia exactly? I mean, we all use that word, but the actual clinical definition is way more specific than just having a rough night.
So clinically, it really boils down to three main things. You have trouble falling asleep, you have trouble staying asleep, or the sleep you get is just, well, it's not good quality. But here's the real kicker. This happens even when you have the perfect chance to sleep. The lights are off, it's quiet, you have the opportunity, but your body just will not cooperate.
And this whole fight doesn't just end when the sun comes up. Oh no. Insomnia follows you into your day, giving you that awful, heavy, foggy feeling. You're irritable, your energy is totally zapped, and trying to focus on anything feels impossible. It's like huge impact on your waking life that really turns it from just a few bad nights into an actual clinical disorder. So what's really at the heart of this? What's causing this super frustrating condition? Well, it's not just one single thing. It's more like a tangled web of different factors, and they're all kind of feeding into each other. We can basically think of the causes in two big buckets. On one side, you've got lifestyle and environment, the late night coffee, scrolling on our phones, working the night shift. Then on the other side, you have what's going on inside our bodies and our minds. Things like stress, anxiety, and depression are huge culprits, but so are physical issues like chronic pain or even restless leg syndrome. But what's going on at a biological level? Well, scientists have a name for it. Hyperarousal. The best way to think about it is like your body has an internal alarm system, right? For people with insomnia, that alarm is just stuck in the on position. It's why they actually have higher levels of stress hormones and faster metabolisms, not just at night, but during the day too. Their system is just always running a little too hot to properly cool down for sleep.
Okay, so you feel like you have a problem, but how does that feeling turn into an official clinical diagnosis? Let's take a look at where doctors actually draw the line between just having a few bad nights and having chronic insomnia.
To make it official, doctors use a guide called the DSM-5, and the rules in there are pretty strict. It's not just about having some trouble sleeping. To be diagnosed with chronic insomnia, it has to be happening at least 3 nights a week, and it has to have been going on for at least 3 months straight. And, this is the really important part, it has to be messing with your life, causing you real distress or making it hard to function during the day.
All right, so we know what it is, we have an idea of why it happens, and we know how it's diagnosed. Now for the big question, the one that really matters. What can we do about it? Let's open up the modern toolkit for managing insomnia. Now, when you think about treating insomnia, your mind probably jumps straight to sleeping pills, right? But here's something that might actually surprise you. The most recommended, most effective long-term treatment has absolutely nothing to do with medication. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI for short. And you should think of it like physical therapy, but for your sleep. Instead of a pill, it uses a whole set of techniques to basically retrain your brain's relationship with sleep. You learn to make your bed a place for sleep and only sleep. You learn to limit your time in bed to make your sleep more efficient, and, this is a big one, you learn how to challenge and disarm all those anxious thoughts that keep you wide awake. It's all about fixing the problem at its source. And here's why that's a game changer. CBTI is like learning how to actually fix the engine in your car. It gets to the root cause for a real long-term solution. Sleeping pills, they're more like putting a piece of black tape over the check engine light. Sure, they can mask the symptom for a little while, but they don't fix what's broken, and they often come with their own set of problems. That's why experts now consider CBTI the true gold standard.
Now, this doesn't mean that medication is never an option. It can be a really useful tool, especially for short-term help. And the research is getting better and better at pinpointing which drugs work best. In fact, a huge review back in 2022 identified a couple of newer drugs that seem to have the best balance of being effective while also being safe. So this kind of work really helps doctors make the smartest possible choice when a prescription is the right call.
So for our last part, let's zoom all the way out. Let's put everything we've talked about into a broader context and just look at the big picture of sleep in our modern world.
Okay, this is absolutely fascinating. When researchers looked at the sleep habits of over 1 million people, they found this incredible U-shaped curve. It turns out the sweet spot for a long life seems to be right around 7 hours of sleep a night. But what's really wild is that sleeping too much, more than 8 hours, was linked to the exact same increased mortality risk as sleeping too little. It seems when it comes to sleep, there really is a Goldilocks zone.
And that leaves us with one last, really crucial question to think about. In our constant search for better health, maybe the goal isn't just about trying to sleep more. Maybe, especially for those of us who struggle with insomnia, the real answer is learning how to sleep better. It's not just about the quantity of hours we spend in bed, but the quality of the rest we're actually getting. Something to sleep on. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.